Hey guys, so Jehovah's Witnesses just produced a video for their 2025 summer convention that's supposed to warn other Jehovah's Witnesses of the dangers of listening to apostates. In case you missed it, an apostate by Jehovah's Witness definition is a former Jehovah's Witness who leaves the organization and speaks out against it. This video is a propaganda piece that they are going to be playing on jumbotrons across the globe to millions of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide. And the goal of this video is to paint apostates as these angry red flags so that Jehovah's Witnesses will remain compliant. And not just compliant, but obstinate in the face of legitimate, warranted criticism. Let's watch.
Bethel's nice, but you have to think about your future.
If people could hear your truth, you would be an encouragement to so many people.
When I was your age, they told me all the time that the end could come tomorrow. But look at us. We're still here, and we've been able to.
What's wrong?
I'm worried about them. They're different.
Yeah. I kind of felt that too.
You know, whenever I ask him how things going in their congregation, he won't give me a straight answer.
Really?
And he's always shifting the conversation to something negative about the organization.
How? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. But I sure hope I'm wrong.
Hey, Justin, I want you to read this article I just sent you. It's gonna change the way you see the organization. Get back to me. Did you get that message I sent you?
Why would you send that to me? Better yet, why are you reading that garbage? It's all lies.
Garbage? How do you know if it's garbage if you haven't even read it?
Listen, you need to talk with your elders. Because you need help. And if you don't speak to them, I will.
Wow, that's what you feel. I need help. I don't need any help, man. I'm finding the answers to my questions, bro. And I'm keeping an open mind.
Open mind? You're ignoring Jehovah's thinking. The truth saved our lives.
Look, man, how long have we known each other? I would never steer you wrong. I'm not out to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. How long have you known me?
Tell these stones to become loaves of bread.
I'm trying to share with you the truth.
Throw yourself down.
Do you really think I would steer you wrong?
I will give you all this authority.
I definitely don't need any help from them.
Do an act of worship before me. Go away, Satan!
Stop. There's only one truth, and it comes from Jehovah.
You're gonna walk away like that? What are you so afraid of? Man, stop being a coward. Don't be weak. They're just telling you what you need to do. You need to think for yourself.
For it is written, it is Jehovah your God you must worship. And it is to him alone you must render sacred service.
Sigh. So now I want to highlight 5 key strategies in this propaganda video that they're using to indoctrinate their viewers. Number 1, no accountability. So first, what they do is they identify the apostates as the ones who are complaining about the organization. And just for a little context, you're watching this, you were never a Jehovah's Witness, you need to understand what they're talking about in the video. You have the couple who's saying, yeah, Bethel's nice and all, but you got to think about your future. What they're referring to is the organization's headquarters that used to be based in Brooklyn. Now it's based in upstate New York. And at the headquarters, there were thousands of faithful, dedicated Jehovah's Witnesses who went to volunteer at the headquarters and who left completely jaded by everything that they saw. People who've left Bethel have reported seeing rampant hypocrisy and corruption among the leadership. And then in the past 15, 20 years, when headquarters downsized and laid a bunch of people off, hundreds of older senior volunteers who dedicated decades of their life were literally stranded with no retirement savings and nowhere to go after Bethel basically chewed them up and spit them out. So then the apostates say, look, the organization's been saying that the end is coming, Armageddon is just around the corner. They've been saying the end is coming for forever. And look, we're still here. And this is a valid concern that anyone, witness or not, would have if they were lied to for decades. They're basically just acknowledging the absurdity of the situation. Like, how long have we been saying that the end is coming? Yeah, we sound like we're a doomsday cult. Yeah, we're getting older. And this is a waste of our life because it's not true. Maybe we've been duped, guys, but the organization refuses to take accountability for the negative impact they've had on generations of Jehovah's Witnesses and their families, and likes to paint anyone who expresses a rational, logical thought as a dangerous influence that's challenging their authority. Number 2, character assassination. It's subtle, but it's there. You got the good guy, the good brother saying, I'm worried about them. They're different. That's loaded. He doesn't mean they're different in a good way. He's imputing bad motives instead of giving his longtime friends the benefit of the doubt. And anyone who's a Jehovah's Witness or former Jehovah's Witness watching this knows the organization or the congregation specifically thrives on gossip. They love to see someone go down. People you thought were your friends, all right, your spiritual family, they'll get a bag of popcorn. Instead of investigating the claim and listening to their side of the story, they just take the coward's way out. They'll sit back, say, glad it's not me, and watch their friends just get thrown to the wolves. Number 3, infantilization. So something the organization loves to do is oversimplify complex issues by treating adults like children. And as a result, it's just a fact that a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses suffer from arrested development. In this case, they are purposely using certain imagery to provoke an emotional response and whip up this sense of theocratic nostalgia. It may seem insignificant, but that framed photo of the 2 buddies as adolescents is an extremely manipulative move. See, children are more impressionable and easy to control, so if the organization can successfully freeze you in time from a developmental standpoint, then you'll always look to them for answers, no matter how old you are. The carefully planted photograph is a blatant attempt to tug at viewers' heartstrings and distract them from the reality that we're talking about a physically mature adult man with the ability to employ his critical thinking skills at this stage of his life and reassess his choices. Number 4, savior complex. All right, so next you have the good brother, the good guy, confronting his buddy, who's becoming less and less his buddy. In fact, this is very reminiscent of the buddy system, a series that I did about how Jehovah's Witnesses keep other Jehovah's Witnesses in line. He even threatens them. He says, I don't like what I'm hearing, and if you don't talk to the brothers or talk to the elders, I'm going to talk to them for you. But besides that, he's guilt tripping him. Why would you send me that link? Why are you doing this? But then he says something, I don't know, it made my eye twitch. And that's when he says, yo man, the truth saved our lives. That's a bold statement to make. Saved you from what? Think about it, that statement carries pretty serious implications. You're implying that you were in some pretty bad circumstances, some really dangerous, serious circumstances, and the organization saved you from something life-threatening. I'm sorry, we need some context. Dude, were you trafficked? Involved in drug running? That's a pretty big statement to make. I'm gonna need a little bit more context before I give all the credit, hand over all the credit and accolades to a corporation based in upstate New York for saving your life and making you who you are today. But this is so on brand for Watchtower. It's what all cults and frankly abusive narcissistic relationships do, right? Without me, you're nothing. As an institution, the Watchtower organization is extremely narcissistic. And just like a skilled abuser, Just like a skilled narcissist, they don't want you to feel empowered without them. They always have to be included in the narrative of having changed your life, saved your life. Thinking for yourself threatens the power and control that they have over you. Basically, they're just trying to make the bad guy, the apostate, look like an ungrateful heretic. Like, how could he turn his back on the people who did so much for him, on Jehovah, on the truth, the thing that saved him? Nah, he's smart. That guy's finding his voice and reclaiming his power from an abusive organization.
Reclaiming my time.
Judiciary
Reclaiming my
Committee.
time.
Okay.
Reclaiming
Matter of
my
fact,
time.
Number 5, discrediting. All right, this last one is straight out of the cult playbook. So the apostate buddy is accused of, just spreading lies, spreading misinformation. That's a word everybody loves to use nowadays. Every cult is going to attempt to discredit their critics. This isn't unique to the witnesses. But besides that, this whole scene is wildly hypocritical for 2 reasons. 1, Jehovah's Witnesses claim to be the truth with a capital T. They stand for truth. But when the truth doesn't make them look good, the reality that they've been covering up child sexual abuse for decades generated all these false prophecies of when the end would come, and then gaslit their parishioners when obviously the end didn't come. The truth that the organization was a registered NGO with the United Nations for over a decade, when Jehovah's Witnesses forever have been told to remain politically neutral, and someone says, hey mom, dad, hey bro, sis, you taught me to stand for truth. I found true, real, legitimate problems within the organization. Then they suddenly have selective hearing. But also, when talking about sharing the truth with others, Jehovah's Witnesses have always loved to use the illustration or the analogy of saving their neighbors from a fire. Like forever. Anybody who's watching this knows what I'm talking about. Wouldn't you want to save your neighbor if their house was on fire? That's how urgent our message is. The end is coming. We wouldn't want them to lose their life. But what's ironic is that is literally what the friend, the bad guy, is trying to do. Look, man, the organization has serious issues. I'm presenting this information to you so you can see for yourself. It's hurting people. It's been hurting people, and I don't want you to get hurt. And I want you to also have the option of getting out. It's because I care about you that I'm telling you this. Instead, they frame the apostate who is showing the same concern you would show for a friend who is being exploited and lied to, as being just like the devil who tries to tempt Jesus. And apparently the devil is English and about to offer Neo the red pill. Instead of using your critical thinking skills, your powers of discernment to say, I examined the evidence for myself, there's no basis for this. This information that you've given me poses no threat to my faith because it's not true. I can prove that it's wrong. I went through your concerns, line item. Thank you for your concern, I appreciate it, but I'm good. Instead, this dramatization is a diversion to elicit an emotional hair trigger reaction. Oh my God, my friend is just like Satan. He's talking just like Satan. It's fear-based. It's pure fear-mongering, all right? So that little mechanism in your brain, you're sitting there at the convention as a Jehovah's Witness, that little mechanism in your brain goes, oh no, they're conditioned, and then they shut down any attempts at further communication. It's kind of brilliant, as it was providing all the sisters with this thirst trap. I imagine some brothers too. Anyways, the 2025 Summer Convention of Jehovah's Witnesses will be chock full of this sort of propaganda to intimidate and guilt their members into submission. I'm sure you'll be seeing more of these types of videos circulating in the months to come. I'll be on the lookout. As usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members who dropped in for my first live stream. I really enjoyed meeting you and chatting with you. If you would like to become a channel member and get access to monthly live streams, go ahead and click the join button below. Have a great week, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.